up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a pretty time red. Can't let that shit go in my head, war gaming.
Hello and welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I am Shane, hanging out with Fox.
What's up?
And of course, we've got Churchy.
In the void.
Today we are talking about a game we have played 2 times now, I think, but have talked about a couple of times.
Yeah, I've played this game many times.
You've played it many times.
Yeah.
Sidreal Confluence.
Yes.
Sidreal Confluence.
Sidereal Confluence.
It's a title. It's a title.
It's a title, yeah.
It's interesting.
It is. The one we have next to us is the Remastered edition, but up behind me to my left is the old version.
We have 2 copies. I mean, you have 2 copies.
Yeah, we do. I do own 2 copies. Well, actually, you own one now. And the reason is, this is a game that we used to have like a really big board game group. My old boss, and his mates, and me, and a couple of my mates. And so it got like the player count got quite high. And so one of the board game guy at the time.
Every group's got the one guy that has all the games or most of the games.
100%.
Yeah.
And this is that guy. And he brought along this game, Sidreal Confluence, this old version behind me. And he was like, this is great because it's like 8 players. I haven't played it, but we'll figure it out. So we played it. And the group was split. Half love it and rate it as like a top game.
Yep.
The other half are like, I will not come to a board game night if you're playing Sidreal Confluence.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy,
That
man.
is brutal, man. Why? Like,
I don't know. We'll get into that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, it's great. It's got a 4 to 9 player count, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the expansion brings it up to 10 players.
Yeah.
So you can have 10 people sitting around and, well, if you know this game, that is chaos.
Those kind of numbers, it's like a party game.
Yeah.
But this is not a party game.
No.
You're not having a party when you're playing this game.
Not making friends.
This is a game where you find out who your friends are.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I like about the premise of the game, I'll explain the game loosely as, just the mechanics of it.
You
so
could
people can
round
get
it up into like 3 words.
Sidreal Confluence, good.
They'll do it.
Big trade.
Thanks
lots,
for watching, guys.
Big trade lots. See you next week. See you Sunday. So the way this game works is you all play as a unique faction. So your factions are asymmetrical in that they play completely different. But the core rules of the game are the same for everyone.
Yeah, everyone abides by the rules, like the rules of physics.
Exactly, yeah. You may be doing all kinds of flips. I might be doing front flips.
Yep.
You might be doing back flips.
Yep.
Churchy might be doing kick flips.
Oh.
But we all have to abide by the rules of physics. Except for Churchy's kick flips, because they're out of this world.
They're nutty.
So, the what was the analogy? Laws of physics. The physics of this game.
Yes.
The laws of physics of this game is that everyone has resources, and they are played in the game as these small tokens. There's small cubes, there's big cubes,
Hexagonal.
there's one hexagonal cube,
Yep.
and there's one ship cube, and there's victory points. And so you've got all these different resources that you trade with each other so that you can run these things in front of you called converters. And converters do exactly that.
Convert cubes into other cubes.
Yeah, to more cubes.
Yep.
And so these converters, they might say, for example, you need 2 big blue cubes, and we'll turn that into 1 big blue cube, 1 ship, 1 victory point, and 3 small cubes.
Oh, that's a deal.
And you're like, that's value.
Yeah.
So, but then you look in front of you and you don't have any big blue cubes. You're like, well, I can't run that converter.
Yeah.
So therefore you have to trade with people.
Yeah.
But the best part about this game is putting a timer on the trade phase
It is nuts.
and just watching chaos ensue.
Oh. And you can't trade before the timer. That's a big no-no. Penalties
Which
apply.
Shane tried to do every round.
Maybe most rounds.
Most rounds. Mostly all the rounds.
Sometimes it's just a little bit of a,
You'd be like, you'd be like, hey, Rory. I'd be like, shut up, Shane. Wait till I start the timer.
What do you think on the weekend? It was kind of like 2 blue cubes for 1 black cube.
It was
kind of
awful.
day,
Big blue cube out today. Would hate for it to be small brown cube or 2 small brown cubes. Give me 2 small brown cubes. Yeah, so, and that's basically what the trade phase is for 5 minutes. It's like, Churchy, what are you doing with those green cubes?
Yeah.
Wanting to know if they're planning on running them for converters.
What can I do for you to get those cubes?
I need them.
Yeah.
And you can trade anything almost. You know, you can trade your very converters, planets that you get, colonies.
Yeah.
What I like that we didn't really touch on it at all as we're playing this game is that the theme of the game is so well baked into how the factions play. But I also like that you don't really need to know the lore. You can just play this as a Euro game and enjoy it. So you trade. That's a trade phase. Then after the trade phase, you use your new goods to run these converters and turn them into better capital.
Yeah.
And then you can use that capital to then trade in the next turn and run your converters and whatnot. And you slowly amass
Rinse and repeat.
victory points.
Yeah.
You research things. You do all sorts of stuff.
The research phase was kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
having to actually build up quite a large amount of resources to complete that research.
Yeah.
But then you can benefit from it immediately,
Yeah.
but everyone else doesn't benefit until the end of the turn or the start of next.
Yeah, everyone has a big deck of converters that as people research something,
Yep.
you'll go through that deck, grab that converter out, the matching
Yeah.
converter. So Shane might get a research team that says, if you complete this, you've researched clinical immortality.
Yep.
You go through your deck and look for the converter called clinical immortality, you add it to your stack, and then you can run that.
Yep.
Later on, you'll then share that technology with everyone else for a sharing bonus.
Yep.
And then everyone goes through their deck and gets out clinical immortality. This is where the game gets crazy, because in a turn, say 4 people in an 8-player game all research something.
Yeah.
You're looking through your deck for 4 new converters to then put in front of you.
Yep. More things to choose from. That's when it starts getting the analysis paralysis.
Yeah, so we've played with 4 people.
Yeah.
And there was lots of options, right, Churchy?
Yeah.
You felt it.
Yeah,
You felt it.
It's the second time
I
he's
felt it.
called out Churchy.
Well, Churchy had like 10 planets on top of everything
man.
else.
I looked over at Churchy and I'm like, how has he got 3 times the amount of stuff that I do?
I saw him just like crying into his beer. Just like, and I think he gained grey hairs from the
By
decisions.
the end of the
Yeah.
game, it was taking me like 5 minutes just to like go through generating all my stuff from the planets.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so what's interesting is like that part scales exponentially with player count. So like we were looking through and getting out, 2 or 3 things, converters sometimes.
Not every turn though. Some turns
Yeah.
there was nothing we're getting researched.
And we still had stacks.
Yeah.
So basically what we had in front of us is about a third of what you would have in front of you in an 8-player game, for example.
misplaced my water. Found it.
Your water. I'll trade you. I'm still in trade mode for next game. So it is really cool, and it's a balancing act because these research teams, like they might cost 18 small green cubes.
Yeah, which is nuts. If you're not producing those cubes, you have to try and trade for them.
And because they're all the same color, that's even more difficult. Converters, you can kind of split up. You're like, oh, I got 3 browns that can run that converter.
Yeah.
I got 2 greens to run that one.
Yep.
When it's a research team, it's like, hey, you better have everything the same.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it for the research team, you can't then put it into your converters. So you got to do the balancing act of economy for victory points, the trade-off. So it's a really fun. It is a really fun balancing act.
Yep.
And it's really fun trying to negotiate with your friends who also have their own plans about like, what they want to do.
Yeah. They're, things might change on a whim. Like you've got plans for those 2 big blue cubes.
Yeah.
But then someone comes in, like Fox comes in and says, I'll give you this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
What am I getting out of it versus what could I get in this trade?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of that sort of on the spot thinking because you're
Yeah.
under the timer as well.
Yeah.
You got the egg timer sitting there.
And so someone throws that deal at you and you're trying to calculate. You go, well, if I run the converter, I get slightly more, but I'm getting those now, which I
Yep.
can use to trade to run these other converters.
Yeah,
While
yep.
someone's yelling at you, going, "No, don't do that! I want that blue cube. I'll give you a hex." And you're just
Yeah.
like, "Hang on a minute. Hang on.
Yeah.
Is that better?" Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun chaos.
And there's a lot of things too, upgrades that happen during that trade phase. So while the trade's going on, you might spend those to then flip over a planet or something like that, which will then generate more resources the next turn.
Yep.
Or sorry, the next phase. Interesting. Like
The game has a lot of moving parts, and it's not until you
man.
sort of sit down after the game that you're like, oh, it's got research teams and planets you can flip. Then it's got converters you can flip, converters you can use to flip other converters.
you
It's like, wow,
sacrifice that converter to upgrade another.
And then you've got your unique races that can all do, their own unique things.
Yeah.
On top of all that layered stuff. So.
Yep.
So the game is made by Tausetti, not Tausept, Tausetti Deichmann, who has
German.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. I mean, who knows? Deichmann could be Irish. I mean, it could be Australian,
who knows?
but he's not. And this is the only board game he's made.
Right. He's made other games?
He's made one RPG.
Oh, really?
Which seems to be like pretty small and niche. I really couldn't find much on it apart from its name. Novarian some shit, I don't know. Bulgarian chocolate, I don't know.
Delicious.
Let me find it on my phone.
Is it on Drive-Thru RPG? If so, use the Hobby Homies link in the description to give us a little bit of a bonus.
I was going to correct you, but I was like, no way, it's a good segue. It's a good plug. It's called Jovian Despair. Huh. And it's an RPG where humankind becomes able to colonize other planets. Mars was first. Now, I think
Sidreal Confluence in an RPG.
Yeah. I think it's like the sort of the prelude.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that he took the history of the world in the lead up to what is Sidereal Confluence and turned it into an RPG. That's a guess.
That's very cool.
It's a big old guess. It's highly rated from the two people that have played it. Oh yeah. From what I can tell.
Well, I mean, it's 50-50.
50-50. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yep.
And it is cool. So I've got right next to me, Shane. We've got some races.
Yep.
Not races, factions.
Factions?
Yeah.
They are kind of like a race.
Yeah.
I played lizard people. Reptilians.
What were their names?
I don't even want to try it. The
Kit? Were you the Kit?
Me. I was the Kit.
Nah.
You were the Kit.
Lost people.
What?
Kajar or something?
Oh, yeah. I got you. You're these ones, the red ones.
Yeah. Military might.
So I'm going to spell this for people. So Shane's, this is the first name. It's KJASJAVIKALIMM. Directorate.
That's not Rylethian.
It's not Rylethian, although it's as close as you could get.
It's got a pronunciation guide on there.
I do like that.
Do they all have that?
They all have that.
Oh, okay.
So yours was pronounced KJAS DJA.
It's hard. It's almost harder to say.
Yeah, I liked a better one. You could have just said whatever you wanted. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Vikalem. It ends in Vikalem.
Yep.
And it starts with KJAS, but that Djar in the middle is in capitals and confusing. Kaleon. Yeah, so.
Djar.
Imdrill. I'm drill. It doesn't actually, a lot of these don't even help. But they try.
That's exactly what I thought.
What'd you say? Nicolaj. He's Nicolaj. This is good. So what was your races go? What was your whole thing?
They had ships for days, dude.
Oh, that's right, because we didn't mention this, but when you there's like a bidding phase.
Yep.
So if you want to get new planets or new research teams, you have to use ships, which is like a token, and you blind bid. Yeah,
which I thought was really cool. Like, so you're prepping in your hand what you're spending, and once you bid that, you're committed to spending that.
Yeah.
My race had the option to split it, so I could, bid 4 and then split it into 2 twos.
And so have 2 bids on the table.
Yeah. But other people can bid nothing. So you might be the only one bidding, and you're like, man, I think Fox is going to bid for that planet. I need it. I'm going to bid 6 ships because I got to get that planet.
Yeah.
And then everyone opens their hands and you're the only one there with tokens in your hand. And it's just like, God damn, I spent those 6 ships.
And you're like, oh, okay. So you can just choose not to purchase anything and keep the ships. But you're like, oh, but then I don't get that planet that I just really needed.
Yep.
So yeah, it is good. I do like that. And then you have to back it up by then bidding on the research teams. And I like the way they've done it because I feel like research teams are more sought after.
Yep.
But planets you can't afford to not have because it's passive income.
Yeah.
So it's
free
like
real estate.
It's free real estate.
Yep.
So it's like you have to bid on your planets, so you're getting rid of your ships.
Yeah.
But you really want to hold them.
Yeah.
For the research.
So it seemed to it didn't really play out with our game. I think with more players, probably more so. But I feel like the planet bids would always be quite low.
Yeah.
And research bids would be up there.
Yeah, I think when you add a few more, it kind of the game's changed based on the races that are out and what they do.
Yep.
So, like Churchy's race faction, when it's in the game, it can produce a lot of planets.
Yeah.
Can pump them out, and it can trade them away.
Oh yeah.
So that drops the bidding for planets even lower when people are aware of that, and if the player's moving the planets around, because you're like, oh well, I'll just get one off Churchy. That's fine. So
I didn't know Churchy was selling planets.
He wasn't. He was going.
I was holding them.
Yeah, it was awesome. He had like 10 of them. It's very cool.
Right. I feel like what was I going to say? So these races, obviously, all races need to trade. That's the whole point of the game is trading, right?
Yeah.
Would you say there's factions that are more sort of self-sustaining and they might only trade? Probably, you know, like some of our trades we would do. I'd be like, this trade doesn't really help me, but Churchy needs that. I'm not doing anything with it. I'll trade him. You know, that's a win for him.
Sure.
And you know, you traded me a couple of times, and we all sort of did it, right? Obviously, it was more of a friendly game. If it was like if we were all playing hardcore, like competitive, no one would have done any trades that didn't benefit themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, or you do it out of absolute pure necessity, not because he needs that. I kind of don't need it.
Yeah.
But like, would there be any factions that just sort of do their own thing?
Yeah, there are definitely factions that don't need other players for their goals, and there are factions that have to have other players.
Yep.
So, for example, there's the faction that Rory played, where they have grey, like wild cubes.
Yeah.
That can be anything. They usually don't need to interact with other players at all. Other players will come to them out of desire for their cubes. Once they learn the game and they go, oh, wait, I've only got 6 green and I need 12. Oh, wait, that could be 6 green and 6 grey.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I can have that and change them on a dime. Like, I'll never be able to not run a converter with those grey cubes, basically. Yeah. So people usually go to them so they can kind of just do their own thing. But on the flip side of that, you've got the space whales, and they're called the AEST, and they have converters that they cannot run.
Right.
They actually have to trade their converters to people and have them run those converters.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you generate like a passive sort of income, whether there's victory points or resources from other people running your converters.
Yeah, but running your converters is kind of tough because they all have to be the same color.
Wow.
So one of them, I think, turns like 4 little cubes into 6 little cubes or something like that.
Yep. Of any color?
Of any color. No, all the same.
Yeah, so
any color, but all the same color.
So you could put one turn, you could put 4 greens and get 6. The next turn, you could put, 4 white and get 6. Okay.
But you have to make that worth it for them.
Yeah.
And you have to get something for it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So you really need, your economy is based on being able to sell your converters to other people, which can be difficult because not a lot of people hoard the same resource.
No.
And then want to throw it into your converter for a measly turnaround.
I found one of my resources I was actually generating quite a lot of was at the start of the game was the black cubes. Yeah. And at one point I felt like I couldn't give them away.
Yeah, I felt like that too.
What am I doing with these? I don't need them.
I think it's just one of those things where the combo of players we had generated a lot of black cubes.
Yep.
But didn't use a lot of them.
Yeah.
So we had a surplus there. So they almost became the same value as little cubes.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is interesting. But yellows, on the other hand, were hard to come by.
And I needed them.
Yeah, everyone needed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's always cool. It's cool how they give you a guide to the value of things, but really, when the rubber hits the road,
oh man,
anything's worth whatever you're willing to pay.
Yep, it's market value.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
So anyways, I'll quickly flick through these and give you an idea because you guys didn't play or are aware of all of these. So you got Shane's. You do some stuff. I forget what you said. I wasn't really listening.
No.
You got territory tiles.
Yeah, they were like upgraded converters that I could purchase by destroying planets.
Ah, right. So you chew up planets, which is really cool. I forgot about that.
Which I didn't do until near the end.
Yeah, which is uncommon actually, because last time I played these people, because the flip side of these are really good.
Yeah.
So people like to get one out early and try and upgrade it, but it does cost a lot.
Yellow cubes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And then there's the Kalion, which are like they put seeds on worlds.
Oh, the tree people.
And they can run the planets twice.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
That's big.
Net income.
Yeah.
Like it's just nuts.
Where's their pitfall though? Where's like that's a
Nah, there is no pitfall for them.
Nah?
Yeah. They're quite one dimensional.
Yeah.
The pitfall actually they do halve their colony bids. So if they bid 4 ships for a colony, it becomes 2.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so it's harder for them to get planets, but when they get them, they're worth a lot.
Yeah.
But they can also trade their planets with the seeds on them to other people.
Okay.
Which is really cool because you kind of have to go, oh, that's good value because you can then run that planet twice.
Yeah.
Unity is the one Rory played where they've got grey cubes, unlike everyone else.
Yeah. Everything's the same.
So everything's wild to them.
Yep.
which is cool. They got the there's the Yengi. Now the Yengi are really strong in a big player game because these, you know how we share technology?
Yeah.
So we research something, then we all go through our decks and look for it. They don't share their technology unless you pay them.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be like, I'm researching hyperspace mining.
Yep.
And because there's only one of each hyperspace mining,
Yep.
you either get it from them or you don't get it at all.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool. So they make people pay for it, which is nice. They dominate most games. There's the Wasp people, which was Churchy.
Yep.
And what were you? You were just like infinite colony support.
Yeah, basically you could have infinite colonies, and then they cost yellow cubes to get out though. So that was
That's where they're all going.
Yeah.
That's where all the yellow cubes were going.
A lot of them, like I'd be making a lot of trades early on to get a bunch of them, so I could get a lot of planets out.
Yeah, I reckon I had a couple of yellow cubes early on, and I traded them to Churchy.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I did too when they weren't worth a lot. Yeah.
I did that right at the start.
Yeah,
The first turn, I was just like trying to get all the yellows.
Cheeky.
Cheeky Churchy.
We got the Zeth who steal from other people,
Oh.
which is new. So basically,
theft.
if you trade with the Zeth, they'll give you a token to say that you're safe, which means they can't trade from you. Sorry, they can't steal from you.
Okay.
So the Zeth are in an interesting spot where they're like, oh, I really want to trade with that person, but then I have to give them a safe token,
Yep.
and then I can't later steal from them.
Yep.
So it's interesting. You can kind of use their own rules against them to a sense. So the Zeth are interesting. It tells you not to use it if there's less than, I think, 5 players or if people are new.
Okay.
But I think that's just to avoid the feels bad. It's not as brutal as other games because really there's not a lot of ways in this game to handicap your opponents.
Nah.
Apart from not trading with them
yeah.
or stealing planets in the bid phase. There's not really ways of stopping them from doing what they want to do, which is cool because it's like, all right, if you don't want to trade with me because you don't want me to run that thing,
Yeah.
I'll trade with Rory.
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah.
oh, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I do want those cubes.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
What so what can the Zeth steal? Like what resources are you limited to, like one big token or one little or
So they have theft converters. So it actually tells them what they can steal on their converters.
Oh, right, okay.
So they put a cube in. They still pay a cube.
Yeah.
But when they run that converter, instead of taking it from the pool,
Yeah.
they'll take it from someone else.
Right.
So they might put a black cube in to get 2 small greens and a white.
And it says steal that white from someone.
No, it says steal all that from someone.
Okay.
So
What if okay, all right. Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So the good news is it happens in the converter phase. So you steal it from people after they've run their converters.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah. It's cool. I like that.
It is cool. And what's really cool, like this game is great, and when you play it a lot of times and you get to learn all the races, it's really good. But it did need the expansion, which adds all these races again, but plays them differently, and you can mix and match.
Okay.
So you can now choose, I'll play the Zeth, but I'll play this version of the Zeth.
Yep.
Or I'll play the new version of the Wasp people,
Yep.
where they don't have infinite colony support. They do this instead. So that's really cool. It adds a lot. There's now 16 or 17 different factions you can play as.
Yep.
And it goes up to 9 or 10 players or something.
It's nuts.
It was crazy.
It is nuts. Do you think there's any room for future expansions?
Well, the other one's quite new. So the Remastered was new. I think that's like just pre-COVID.
Yep.
And they remastered it. For those watching can probably tell why. I mean, the old one was...
Yeah, I mean, that's...
It's his first game.
Yeah,
It got picked up by WizKids.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But it's just...
The art. The art.
What art?
The box is lacking.
Yeah, it's lacking in every way.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Whereas then they remade it, and all the art on the cards looks way better too.
Yep.
For the new box, and then it's only last year I think that the expansion came out. I don't know. I don't think there's much more they could do with it, to be honest. I think you could always just keep pumping out races,
Add resources, and start. Yeah, but then it gets heavy.
It gets heavy and hectic, and I think it's good. I mean, I haven't played the expansion too, so I don't really know how much it adds, but we'll let you know when we know. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And people may ask, well, Fox, why do you have 2 versions? Is it just because you love it so much and you got a new one?
That is the reason.
That's the reason. Or alternatively, It's because we took this to Shane's to play late last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And recently we were looking for it to play it again because it was a great game. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And I was like, Shane, actually the last time I had it was at your house, in your old house.
But you also, it was the last time when you had your old car.
Well, it was one of the last times. I was like, maybe it was in the gold car. And because that blew up.
Yeah.
And so someone came out and took it from us when I wasn't home. Sarah just gave him the car and they gave us $300 or something. And they took it.
Didn't you give them $300 to take it?
No, they paid us.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good car, man. How dare you? The
That's
Golden
a good
Dragon.
trade for you.
Yeah. I'm a master of trading. That's why I won. Spoiler alert, I won the game by one point. Yeah. So, yeah. It was, I couldn't find it, so I assumed, I was like, Shane would have seen it. You've just moved house, you've packed everything.
I've seen everything. I've packed every box. I've moved a whole house.
That's it. You would have come across it because, like, it's not a small amount of space that a board game takes up.
No.
And you're moving, and it's like,
Yep.
So I was like, all right, obviously Shane doesn't have it. It must have been in the gold car because all my, like, first edition, all my, like, New and Shrimp Linkin Park albums were in the center console, and Sarah just didn't even check. So I was like, okay, well, obviously, maybe in the boot or something, there was another prized possession I had, Sidreal Confluence.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, it's gone. I really love the game. There's a new version out. What an opportunity to buy it.
Yeah.
Bought it, and you just revealed to me, obviously, that it was here the whole time.
So in the move, we had, I think most people do this, you have a room where it's just like, just chuck it in there, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
Right. A few months went by for later, and then my wife eventually started going through there, and she's like, I got to sort it out. Just being near that room is giving me PTSD, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, we'll do it. So she's cleaning the room out, emptying boxes, and she goes, oh, hey, I found this thing you were looking for. And I'm like, oh, please don't tell me it's
Did
a
she say
purple box.
she found some board games in the thing?
Some board games in like a suitcase.
And when you heard that, how much did your heart instantly sink? Because deep down you knew.
Plummeted through the floor. Like it was, and
You
I was
knew-
like, yeah, and I'm just like, please don't tell me there's like a purple box. And she goes, yeah, Sid something, and I'm just like, no. And then like, don't get me wrong, I was
You were like,
upset.
I could just throw this in the bin.
I could. That was a moral dilemma that I had. It was like, I could just bury
He would
this.
never know.
I could burn it. No one would know. The secret could die with me.
I love the scene of you, like, middle of the night,
Digging a hole in the backyard.
bonfire, and throwing the cards in, like, one by one. And out of nowhere, just me slowly over your shoulder. What you doing there, Chief? Look what I found. I'm getting it in the fire.
In the fire.
I'm getting it out. I'm sorry, it's damaged, but it's not my fault. It was the fire.
Yes, the thought crossed my mind of destroying it,
Yep.
dying with the secret, but no, I thought it'd be more funny to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
by the way, guess what Caitlin found?
And I love that we have not let you live it down
No.
for not even a night.
No, every day you text me in the morning, say, good morning, how's Sidreal Confluence going?
Anything else you found of mine? Just before I go and buy another copy of it.
It's like, hey man, I want to buy myself like some new socks. Any of my socks that you
Yes. Ask Caitlin. Maybe go check all your shit this time. I love that. Deep down, I
You
knew.
had to have known, right?
I knew.
Yeah,
I was like, it's not in the gold car. I swear we left it there to play again. And he just moved house. It could be anywhere. But he would have
Anyway.
unpacked everything, and he would have seen it. And he swore in his life that he didn't have it.
I looked.
Yeah, I looked. Yeah,
As Caitlin would say, I did a man look.
you
I was
poked
like,
your head in the house. You're like,
Yeah,
I don't see Sidreal. Where could it be? It's not under the couch. Is it under the couch? I'll creak my neck slightly. Nah, it doesn't fit under there. Nah, Fox, it's flipped the house upside down. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it.
To be fair, I did tear the studio apart looking for it. I was in every nook and cranny. I
you-
even looked under the couch.
Did you see, like, when I came in here, like, it was either the week or whatever, where I was like, you didn't find Sidreal? You're like, nah. I was like, ah. Dang, man. Just like looking around, just kind of like shut. I'm like, I know it's here. Where are you? Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways.
You know, I also found Alien RPG.
Oh, there you go. There you
So it was a
go.
win-win.
Yeah. It's net positive. I hadn't bought a new version of that yet, so that's good. You saved me a purchase. So thank you for just giving me the gentle nudge I needed to go and buy the expansion.
That's what it was.
And,
it was just encouragement.
Would I have bought this had I have still had that? Nah. Nah.
Have $150 in my pocket.
Yeah, that's some more Shatterpoint minis. Except I'm buying them quicker than they can release them. Take that. How do you like that, Games Workshop? Imagine producing things quicker than people can buy them.
They could only wish.
Anyways, that was Sidreal Confluence. What did you think?
Good game.
That's cool.
7 out of 10.
7 out with rice. What did you think, Churchy?
Probably give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, nice. There you
quite
go.
like that
Solid. Solid 7s across the board.
Yeah. I remember 7 is a cop-out.
Yeah, 7's a cop-out. Yeah, so Churchy gave it an 8. And would you give it?
I'd give it an 8 too.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I think, I think we played with 4 players. I reckon 5 is probably, feels like it'd be the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Any more than that, I feel like, it'd be fun because it'd be so hectic.
Yeah.
But I just think it'd be too cutthroat. Like, it would change from helping each other out from some trades to being like, nah, Churchy, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care how many of those cubes you need. You haven't got what I want.
Yeah. I think, and I think that's probably the difference between the player, going back to what we said at the start, where people are divided on it. I feel like that's the version of the game some people don't like, is the 7 or 8 player chaos.
Yeah.
Where it is so cutthroat, because if you don't want to do this trade, there's 7 other people I can do this trade with.
Yeah.
So let's do it. And that puts the pressure on everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I might know that I can't actually get that trade from 7 other people because you're the only person that has 3 small greens that they're not using.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone else either doesn't have that or they're planning on using it. But I need to make this trade quick before someone else pipes up and takes those with a better deal or whatever.
And that's where the jumping up, standing over the table, yelling across the room, I need those greens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an experience that I've never had in any other game.
Yeah.
And it's so unique to this game, is that almost Wolf of Wall Street stockbroker.
Everyone's on
7th
the
floor,
making
yelling at each other, doing trades that shouldn't be done under the light of day.
I think there's a lot less drugs involved.
There's 7-player games, man. 7, 8-player games. It goes off. So
Nice.
but you're right. Like, it is cutthroat, and I think that's what people don't like. But it's such a fun cutthroat that some people just love that.
Yeah.
You love the feeling of just like winning a deal. Yeah. And then the feeling of the tension of like, I lost that deal, but I'm getting this out of it. I'm being able to run this or whatever. And it's just awesome. And then there's 7 people doing it, or 8 people doing it.
It's really nutty. Like, the whole game, I was kind of like, I don't know who's going to win. Well, actually, to be honest, I kind of felt like Churchy and Rory both at the time had bugger all VP.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was going to be between me and you. I was stacking them up. You stacked them up early.
Yeah.
And it felt like you had nothing for ages.
Yeah. I went quiet.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, man. And I was looking at mine. I'm sort of counting them up. And because you hide them face down, I was kind of like, in a way, I'd forgotten how many I had. I was like, I could have 10. I could have, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't check either.
A few there. Like, counted them up, and then the extra resources, you sort of add them up. And I've gone, I got 23. I'm like, ooh, I might win this.
Yeah.
I could.
That's a decent number, I think.
That's some.
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot of handing over thingo, so you probably went, I don't think I've seen other people gain 23 yet.
Yeah. And like,
Fox gained 7 early, hasn't done much since. Churchy did 2 back-to-back, but that was worth like 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then added them all up, and I'm like, oh, okay. Then I heard Rory go 21. I'm like, yes. And then Churchy, I think he first counted like 19, but then realized he's actually on 21 as well.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
jibbed him out of 2 things.
And I was just like, waiting. I was just looking at you.
Yeah, I was so concerned with everyone else. I forgot to count my points. And I was like, all right, what do I actually have? I flipped them all over, and I was like, 2 5s. Hang on, this isn't looking good. Now, did I lose this? I mean, maybe.
Yep.
And then I flipped over a 10. I was like, 20. Oh, there's only 2 left. And they were both 2s. And I was like, 24. So, so I got 24. You got 23. Churchy and Rory got 21. You couldn't have asked for a closer game.
Oh, yeah.
Considering we were all learning, like, I hadn't played that race before, and I was helping, but I know the game better.
Yeah.
But you 3 were just straight up learning. Your factions, the game itself. So y'all did really well.
It was good.
The game has a way of balancing itself out.
Yeah.
There are a few races that just naturally have an advantage, even if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
But I took all those ones out.
Yeah, like the trees.
Yeah, like the tree people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were all playing factions where you kind of needed to do stuff to get stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was good.
No, it's cool.
Sweet. Well, we'll have to play it again.
Yep.
Because we were only one round short of playing like the full thing.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
make much of a difference, but there's some crazy stuff that comes out later that we didn't touch. Like,
Yeah.
you start playing for the victory points in the last 2 rounds.
Oh,
which we
okay.
didn't really get a chance to do. But there's some converters that come out that turn like the value is like I think 9 to 17 or something.
Wow.
Anyways, big
Just
numbers.
doubling everything.
Just doubling.
Yeah.
Just doubling shit. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So hopefully you enjoyed our little rundown of Sidreal Confluence.
Yeah.
One of my, it's my top 5. It's in my top 5 of board games
Yeah,
for sure.
nice.
Just
Yeah,
because
nice.
like it's so unique. The creators just made this one game and it's just an absolute banger. And
Yeah.
I thought this was like just this little niche thing that was never really gonna, like not much was gonna happen with it. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look at it.
Oh, I know.
He made one game and didn't do anything since. It
Yeah.
looks like this. It plays awesome, but it might have been and anyway. So when it got remastered, I was very stoked because I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, people actually play this.
Yeah.
There's demand for it."
And if there was any, like, I think, like, apprehension, just because looking at the box, this would sell them. This new art,
Yeah.
this new box.
Yeah,
It just looks great.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for watching and listening. We've been Hobby Homies.
We have been hobby homies, and you've been
Patient.
patient.
If you can, like, whatever platform you're on, if you can give us a little 5-star review, that'd be great. It actually helps with helping other people find our podcast.
Whatever platform they're on. So if you're on
Spotify,
eBay,
podcast platform.
yeah, YouTube,
Sorry.
just in YouTube comments, just write 5
5
stars.
stars. Yeah.
Go find us on Podbean. Give us a rating on that.
You could say the boys made me do this. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just,
I'm here against my will. They promised me 2 big black cubes.
yeah, please help.
Or
Yeah.
2 small white cubes now.
Also, check out hobbyhomies.com for links to all the stuff. From there, you can find Patreon. For $2 a month, you can get early access to videos like these, battle reports, other stuff that we do on our other channel,
Yeah.
which you can find a link for that too in the description of this video and or podcast.
It's truth.
What are you doing?
I cooked the microphone.
Yeah.
I survived this long.
And also check out Binge Worthy Breakdown. They're doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They are one of the podcasts on the Hobby Homies network.
That's right.
So
It's a whole
listening-
network and
Yeah.
there's 2 of us. There's
That's it.
dozens of us.
It's some.
It's actually dozens of us. No,
Yeah.
half a dozen. I
Half a
don't know.
dozen.
I don't
There's-
think of
there's
all
a
the
few of
people
us.
involved. Yeah. There's a whole team.
There's a team involved.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah.
cool. And thank you to all our Patreonians for all your continued support.
Yeah.
You help me buy games when Shane steals the original copies.
That's
So.
not true.
No, that's not true.
That comes
That's
out
not
of your
true.
pocket.
Yeah, that was straight out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Wife's still asking me about it.
So Shane gonna fix you up for that? You're like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, you'll get it. Yeah, we'll get to it. We're going Harvey's. It's for the podcast.
Massive shout out to all our patrons. As always, we've got Burnsy, Final Dinosaur, Lethal, Gridlock, Axe Annex, MJ, Whack the Ewok, Test Dummy, and Black Apollo.
We got Brandon W, Moose, Elko, Churchy, thank Churchy. Rad Rooster, thanks for that trade in round 2, Churchy, appreciate it. Rad Rooster, Ollie, Hockers, Penny, Aggro, Don Hua Don, Pure Blind, and Big Roach.
Punching the wall.
Oh, yeah, fuck that wall, man. It's been pissing me off for 3 years now. Yes, thank you all. Thank you all.
See you next week.
next Sunday.
Woo! Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a penny town